For more than 2,000 years, there's been one single text that has served as the ultimate playbook for strategy. And not just in war, but, well, in pretty much any kind of conflict you can imagine. We are going deep into Sun Tzu's The Art of War, and we're focusing on Chapter 3, Attack by Stratagem. Why this chapter? Because it holds one of the most powerful ideas ever conceived, that the greatest victory is the one you win without ever fighting a single battle.
So here's our game plan. We're going to break down Sun Tzu's masterclass. We'll start with his definition of what a perfect victory actually looks like. Then we'll walk through his preferred ways to attack, from best to worst. After that, we'll look at the cold, hard numbers of engagement, analyze the huge risks of bad leadership, and finally, we'll lay out his 5 essential keys to knowing, for sure, that you will win.
All right, let's get right to the heart of Sun Tzu's philosophy. The very first thing he wants you to understand isn't about how to fight, it's about how not to. He starts by completely flipping the script on what it means to be a master strategist.
Now just let that sink in for a moment. Forget what you've seen in movies, the glorious charges, the heroic last stands. Sun Tzu says, no, the true mark of genius, the absolute peak of skill, is to make your enemies surrender before you even draw your sword. The real goal isn't to destroy them physically, it's to completely crush their will to fight.
And this is the logic behind it all. I mean, think about it. What's the point of conquering a city if all you're left with is a pile of rubble? Why would you want to destroy an entire army when you could just absorb its soldiers and its strength into your own? It's all about preservation. Capturing your enemy's resources, their people, their land, all of it intact, that is a much bigger, much smarter victory than just leaving a path of destruction.
Okay, so if actually fighting is the last resort, what are the better moves? Well, Sun Tzu doesn't just leave you guessing. He gives you a crystal clear, ranked list, a hierarchy of strategy, from the most brilliant to the most basic.
Let's break this down. The highest form of war is to foil the enemy's plans before they can even get started. That's a victory of pure intellect. If you can't do that, the next best thing is to cut them off from their allies. Divide and conquer, right? Only if both of those fail should you even consider engaging their army on an open battlefield. And at the very bottom of the list, the absolute worst thing you can do
is to lay siege to a walled city. Sun Tzu sees this as a total failure of imagination, a sign that you've already run out of every other smarter option.
And the costs? They are just astronomical. He literally calculates it, 3 months just to prepare your shields and shelters. Then, another 3 months to build up huge dirt ramps to get over the walls. All that waiting makes a general impatient and angry, and he'll do something rash, like ordering his men to swarm the walls like ants. And the result? 1/3 of his soldiers are killed for absolutely nothing, and the city still hasn't been taken. It is the very definition of a costly, self-defeating move. So now let's see how this grand philosophy translates into actual tactics. Sun Tzu moves from the abstract to the practical, giving us a cold, hard calculus for battle based on one simple thing. Who has more soldiers?
And this is the million-dollar question, right? Big ideas are great, but what do you do when the talking stops and the armies start marching? Sun Tzu has an answer, and it's surprisingly mathematical.
You can almost see this as strategy, like it's a science. If you outnumber them 10 to 1, just surround them. It's over. 5 to 1, a direct attack is your best bet. 2 to 1 is really interesting. You split your army to create a distraction, then hit them from another direction. If your forces are about equal, only then should a really skilled general risk a head-on battle. And if you're outnumbered, be smart. Avoid them. And if the odds are just completely against you, run. There's no shame in it. There's no honor in getting your army wiped out for no reason.
Now, Sun Tzu points out a danger that can be even greater than the army you're facing: bad leadership from your own side. This relationship between the general on the field and the ruler back home is absolutely critical. He uses this incredible metaphor of a bulwark, a defensive wall. A skilled, competent general is like a solid stone wall protecting the entire country. But a flawed general, well, that's a crack in the wall, and it leaves the whole nation exposed. The strength of your state is a direct reflection of the competence of your general. It's that simple.
And Sun Tzu lists 3 specific ways a ruler can literally sabotage their own forces. First, hobbling the army. That's micromanaging from a distance, giving orders when you have no idea what's actually happening on the ground. Second, trying to run a military unit with the same rules you'd use to run a peaceful kingdom, which just creates chaos and confusion. And third, appointing commanders based on who you like instead of who's good at their job, which completely destroys the trust between soldiers and their leaders.
The outcome here is brutal and direct. When a sovereign interferes like this, it doesn't just slow the army down. It invites total chaos, it crushes morale, and it literally throws the victory away. You end up defeating yourself before the enemy even has to lift a finger.
So, after laying out the philosophy, the tactics, and the major pitfalls, Sun Tzu brings it all home with 5 essential conditions. He says if you understand these 5 things, you can predict the winner of a battle before it even starts.
These are the fundamentals. It's about knowing when to engage and when to hold back. It's knowing how to use your numbers, whether you have a lot or a few. It's making sure everyone in your army, from top to bottom, is fighting for the same reason. It's about being prepared and being patient, and striking only when your enemy is vulnerable. And finally, it's about having the military authority to make decisions without a politician breathing down your neck. Victory isn't luck. It's the result of mastering this knowledge.
And this brings us to what might be the single most famous sentence ever written about strategy. This line is the grand summary of everything we've talked about. It's the core principle. Winning isn't about having more soldiers or bigger weapons. It's about having superior information, a deep, honest understanding of your own strengths, and a clear view of your opponent's weaknesses.
And the flip side is also true. Sun Tzu spells out the grim reality of going into a conflict blind. If you only know your own side but not your enemies, it's a coin toss. You'll win some, you'll lose some. But if you know neither yourself nor your enemy, well, that's a death sentence. You are guaranteed to lose. Every single time.
So in the end, we're left with this question. Because this ancient wisdom goes so far beyond the battlefield. Think about your career, a negotiation, or even a personal challenge you're facing. Where can you outthink the problem instead of just trying to muscle through it? Where can better strategy and deeper knowledge let you break down resistance and achieve that supreme excellence, winning without ever having to fight?